Welcome back. So we got to the point where we have a mole appearing in a box, and we can click it and get the points. Of course, having a mole in one place is not very interesting. So we certainly want the mole in more than one box for the mole. We want like a few. So why don't we start by maybe putting 3, okay, and seeing if we can have the a mole randomly appear among the 3. So what to do? Well, let's go back to our HTML and make it side by side so we can see things better. Maybe like this. Here we go. Well, we have the mole box like this. Well, why don't we create 3 boxes? So I'm going to right-click, copy, new line, Control-V, new line, Control-V. Okay, and we have these IDs, mole, so we should make mole 1. Oops, maybe this should be mole 1. This one should be mole 2, and this one mole 3. Oops. Okay, save, and let's take a look what how that looks like. Something's not right. Nothing's there. Okay, well, we can't see the div box when there's nothing there, so why don't we just put something like D. That way we'll see where those D's appear. So let's go refresh. And those D's are here. Okay, so the divs are not boxes, they're not green. Why would that be? Okay, so we know that we apply styling in the CSS file. So let's go to that CSS file. And okay, here is our styling of the div where the mole is. And the way we're doing it, we're saying, okay, find me every div that has an ID, the pound sign means ID of mole. And you can probably spot the problem is that, well, we renamed it. We no longer have an ID mole. We have a mole 1, 2, and 3. So let me save that. And I'll put 1. And let me just hide this for a moment, okay? Because this is going to be difficult to show what I'm trying to show. Okay, so let's do that. Let's come back here, refresh, and well, the first mole box is showing correctly, but the other 2 are not. And the reason why is because, well, we applied the style only to mole 1. So maybe what we can do is we can say, well, you know what? Let's copy this, and let's do mole 3, mole 2, save, and let's refresh this here and see. Okay, now it's better. Every mole box kind of looks like a box. That's great. But you know what? I don't like this color green. I want something different color. I want to say color, I don't know, with maybe some deeper green, dark green. How about that? Okay, let me save, refresh. And okay, it's dark green, but it's only for 1. Oh, I know, because I have to change to everything. And you might be realizing that there already is a problem. We have to remember to change it in every location. So this style is exactly the same as this style. It's exactly the same as this style. So if I make a small change, if I change the height to be 40 here, I have to remember to change it in all the other places. And in programming, whenever you get to a situation where you find that the code is duplicated, exactly the same code in more than one location, that immediately tells you that you did something probably not as well as you could. So what you want to do in programming, you want to make it so that you only write the same code once. Now, how we can do that? Well, these are different IDs, and the ID identifies the element in a document, so it has to be different. Technically, it doesn't have to be, but let's just assume that it is. Well, what can we do? Well, there's different ways of handling it, but the easiest thing is that a element in HTML has an ID, but it also has a class. A class is basically, this is the type of div it is. So I can say this class is a mole. Okay, and I'm gonna copy this and I'm gonna paste it here and I'm gonna do it here. Okay, save. So I can actually have the same class on different items. And the class typically is actually how we say this is the type of these three elements, they share a purpose. So they should probably look very similar, if not the same. And this allows us to actually create a style just for the class, and all the divs will look the same. So let me show you how that's done. We're going to go back into our CSS and see how we had mol1 and we had the little pound sign. The pound sign says find a div element with an ID. Instead, I can say dot. Dot means find an element with a class mol. So I can do this, and it was dark green, right? So I save, and now all of them should be dark green. So let's refresh and see if that works. And voila, all of them are dark green. And this allows me actually to remove this, remove this. Okay, so what I want you to do now is implement this. So you will need to, well, first let's go to your CSS file and make these changes. So you're going to have the div and it's going to say pound. You should change it to a dot. And also remove this visibility hidden. Okay, you can do that, actually just remove it like that. So this is what you have to do. Change the pound to a dot and remove the visibility. And then come back when you're finished. Of course, you have to also make changes in your HTML. So before you had just this, you had basically that. Oops. And now what I want you to do is instead of this one line, have these three lines. And again, copying this is probably the best way to do it. So go ahead, come back, and you should have it looking like this. Come back when you're ready. And again, if you refresh this, it should look like that. Okay, so it should be working, but we don't want those small boxes to be visible right away. We want them to be only visible when you click Start. And the way we do that is in our CSS, we had this visibility. So if you removed it, you can find it in the, for example, Restart style. You can just copy it and put it here. And save, and let's go back here and refresh. And well, correctly, the boxes are not there. Okay, so go ahead and do that. Please add this visibility to hidden and make sure nothing appears when you refresh the page. And come back when you're done. What you'll find now is that, okay, well, that's good, but if I click Start, nothing is showing up. I wonder if you can guess what that is. But let's assume we don't know. So I'm going to make this window large, and I'm going to go open the developer tools. I'm going to press F12. And oh, look at this. I have a red X, and I'm getting a bunch of errors here. So let me refresh the page to see what happens. When I refresh, ooh, I get an error right away. What is that? Well, I can click on the link to the file. So I know that this error is on line 29 of the wam.html file. But fortunately, I can just click it and it will take me here. And what is this here? It says, cannot read properties of null. What does that mean? What that means is, remember how document.getElement by ID mol, I said this searches the document, which is basically all of this here. Like it searches the document and it looks for elements with ID mol. Well, we no longer have an element with ID mol because now we have mol 1, 2, and 3. So when this line, this part of the line runs, the system says, well, I don't have an element with an ID mol. And the way we say it in computer terms is that it is null. Null means nothing or unknown. It's not like a zero, it's just like nothing. We don't know anything. And the system says, well, you're trying to add an event listener here. You're trying to add a click event listener, but I don't know what you want to add it on because this doesn't exist. So, okay, well, what we can do is we can just replace it with 1. So let's go back to our, let's maybe go like this. Let's go back to our HTML. And we can say 1. And that should do it. So let's go back here and refresh. Oops, maybe we should make it full screen so we can see it this way. I'm going to refresh this. And okay, no more errors when I refresh. That's pretty cool. So let me click start. And what is that? Cannot read properties of null reading styles. Again, let me click here. Okay. I think you should get the picture now, right? Cannot read properties of null. So this is null because it's not found, and then you're trying to change its CSS visibility style to visible. But system goes, I can't do that on something that does not exist. So let's go back to our code again and say mol. Okay, save. Let's go back to here and refresh. Okay, no errors when I refreshed. Now let me click start. Good. Well, sort of good. It appeared here, which is, well, kind of nice. We have at least one mol, but not the rest. So go ahead and implement these changes and get it to at least show the one box, and then we'll continue. So what you must do is you must make, I'm going to take a screenshot again. You have to change this ID to mol1 and this to mol1. So go ahead, make that change and make sure your your code is like this so that it shows up just one of those elements. And then come back when you're done. All right, so, well, how do we get them all to appear? Well, where is the code that makes this one appear? Well, that's here. So on the start click, let me refresh this actually, oops, wrong way. Refresh, okay. So when the start gets clicked, this function gets called, and we get the mol1 element, and we set its visibility to visible. Okay, so I did it for 1. I should do it for all the other ones. So let me highlight the entire line. Right click, copy, new line, and copy. So I copy this line, and I'm going to say 2 and 3. Save, refresh. Voila, I've got the 3. Great. So go ahead and make that change. I want you to add these 2 lines to the onClick event. Come back when you're done. Okay, so, well, we got those boxes here, but the mol is not popping up. We have this, D that we put into our divs for testing. Well, first of all, let's remove those Ds. So I can get rid of the D here. Let me save, refresh, and now those boxes should not have anything in it, and that's good. And go ahead, do that as well, and come back when you're ready. but we still don't have the mole popping up. Now, why is that? Again, let's open Developer Tools, F12, and oh, I'm seeing errors again. Okay, so normally what I'll do is I'll refresh the page, and I will see when does the error occur. So no errors at the moment. So let me click Start, and no, oh, now there's error. What's going on? Cannot set properties of null, setting inner text. Again, let me click on this and see, aha, and look at that. Document get element by ID mole. Well, we no longer have the mole element, and therefore we cannot set inner text of something that does not exist. So we got to change that to 1. Of course, we cannot change it here. We have to go back to Visual Studio. So we'll do that. And we look for inner text mole. Okay, I want to put 1 here. Okay, so go ahead. Let me actually go back. Refresh. And mole appears. Okay, so go ahead and make that change in the show mole function. Make sure you add this 1 and then come back when you're done. However, as you can see, the mole does not appear. And I want you to find the problem for that on your own. So I want you to go into here, open F12, open DevTools, and then, sorry, I didn't want to, okay. Open the F12 developer tools using F12, find out what's wrong and try to fix it. If you won't be able to, I'll actually show you what to do, but try to fix it and then come back when you're done. Okay, if you haven't got it working, I'll briefly show you where that is. If we look at it, we get the error right here. When hiding the mole, we again try to reference the mole element by ID, and we don't have that. So we have to go to hide mole, get element by ID, and add a 1. So if you haven't done that, do so now. And if we come back here and refresh, mole shows up and hides. Great. Good. So I will see you in the next video as we continue. Well, we're going to get the mole popping in the other boxes. See you next video.